Hello everybody, Old Gamer Jack here. We're going to throw the hat into the old pool and we're going to have a little bit of rambling about immigration today. I'm going to try to keep this one a little short. I just watched a YouTube video on the whole subject, did a little bit of research on it, and found something pretty interesting about it. Yeah, today is a nice day, still chilly. Like I said, we're going to have a few days where it's going to be colder than what it normally is. People down here say I'm thin-blooded. That's the reason for the thicker coat. I stay chilly more than some people. So, the whole immigration, they call it a crisis. Well, I wouldn't say so much a crisis as much as I would, it was kind of orchestrated. I heard a couple of conspiracy theories on it, went down the rabbit hole on a couple of things, found some things that actually could be proven to be true. Some of it was just flat out lies. Now, when I say orchestrated, I find it funny that about the time that certain governments started reporting that they were having a population crisis in their countries, America, Europe in general, the birth rates were dropping, and population is going to, of course, it decline once that starts. And they had so many years. Well, now you get into conspiracy theory of all your upper class, 1%ers, they need labor. Now, like I said, this is the conspiracy part. So, the one place that they noticed that wasn't having an issue with this was actually from certain parts of Africa, certain parts of Asia, and Middle Eastern countries. And thus they started, shipping them in, opening the immigration doors to these certain people. Even Japan, they face a pretty dire population crisis because they're mostly all old people, and their birth rates are very low. And so, when that population dies off, they're not, they're trying to look for ways to maintain, I guess you can say, their economy, because they are already in a situation where they don't even have enough people to run like 7-Eleven shops and stuff, if you could believe that. So the whole idea is that they bring these populations in, and that kind of would explain how come with all the culture clashing, religious clashing, and just all the trouble and everything that's coming from it, that they continue to let it happen to a certain point, and they let it go on for so many years. It was really bad in Switzerland and places like that. You do a YouTube check on that. If you're sensitive, there's some pretty bad stuff that was going on up there due to the immigrants coming in. But and I'm not saying all immigrants are bad. I'm talking about the ones that's mostly always in the news and videos being made about it. So, in any case, they let so many of them into these countries, America and Europe, to basically get new blood in. That's the conspiracy. To try to boost up the birthing rates and stuff like this. I have no idea. It sounds kind of outlandish, but it could be. I mean, I'm not sure. So apparently, that's going to be going on for so many years, and then they'll start to basically get rid of them once they get what they want out of them. So you see that now. Japan is starting to get rid of them. Some countries in Europe are starting to deport them, I guess that's what you could say. America's on a big kick about it too. With me, it's just, if you was in their shoes and you're trying to make a better life, you would go anywhere you had to get it. Well, okay. So for us, it'd be, South America. And Europe, they're taking, like I said, parts of Africa and Asia and Middle East. Same thing as us, though. But the biggest issue with most of the population is whether it's legal or illegal. One of the arguments is taxes, or they don't pay taxes. That's a touchy political subject that I'm just going to avoid, because if you come into the country and, if they made it easier, how's that? If they made it easier for you to actually get your green card or whatever their immigration system is for Europe, I don't know. I know over here it's like a green card, and then let you work and pay taxes, that'd be fine. I have no issues with it, to be honest. In many cases, a lot of them do work that the rest of us don't want to do. So I'm kind of on the fence about it, whether it's okay or not okay. It's different down here. Like I said, we don't have the issues that you see in other places, so it's hard for me to make that kind of a call. The wind's blowing real good today. So again, it's hard for you to make a decision based on just what the news says and what videos are showing, because here you just don't see that. There's always going to be this, your cases of some crap going down, horrific crimes, but that's really always been going on. It's just today they just throw it all over the news in front of everybody, so you see it, So as far as the frequency of that happening, it's the same as it's always been. It's just now it's advertised, I guess you could say, more. I know in like Europe and stuff, they talk about it's mostly military-aged men that's running to these other countries. Well, I could believe that too if you do a little bit of digging. If you was military age and you're in some of them countries they're coming from, well, if they stayed, they would have to pick a side and fight. If they didn't want to fight, the only choice they would have to do is run. Now, a lot of them are bad, but there is some good ones. So, like I said, I'm on the fence about it. I just don't see the issues where I'm at. So, just like the stuff that goes on in the northern city, it's hard for me to have an opinion on it or even make a comment about it, because I'm not seeing the down effects of it, really. But yeah, they that was the whole conspiracy. They brought them in to get new blood in and to try to boost up birth rates and get the populations where they'll straighten themselves out in so many years. I'm pretty sure it doesn't help that the current generation, they just don't want to have kids. It's so hard, especially when you're not upper class. It's hard just to maintain like you and your wife or you and your girlfriend or whatever, and to bring a kid into it is so expensive. A lot of people just can't afford it. So that's cost of greed. But yeah, immigration, at least around here, the ones I've seen, South Americans, and they work hard. That they do. Now, are there bad ones? Yeah. But the thing I notice most is they know how to play the system. And you can't really be mad at them about that, because if we could play the system like they're playing the system, everybody probably would. It's just easier for them. So, kudos. I mean, you figured out the system. Again, it's kind of hard to be mad about it. Some people say, well, that's my tax dollars going to them. Okay, now it's a whole different problem, but to be honest, if your tax dollars weren't going to them, I'm sure the government would find some other way to take your tax dollars somewhere else, give it to some other country, Yeah, that's an issue. I don't know how to really solve that. Everybody's an immigrant in the entire world. Everybody was always moving. Everybody's an immigrant. But I'm not saying nothing like what that one singer's saying. I ain't saying nothing like that. I don't believe there is no such thing as stolen land. There's not one piece of earth on this planet that at one time or another hasn't been taken by somebody else. So I don't believe in that stuff at all. That's pretty much my view on that. That was quite quick, really. Let's see here. Y'all see what happened down there at Daytona Spring Break? Oh, man. Again, though, that kind of stuff's always been going on. It's just more and more of them going as population starts to go down there. It's more and more people. So, stuff like that's just bigger. Plus, like I said, it's put on the internet and the news more and more than what it used to be. I think back in my day, late night, they used to advertise that damn DVD series. What was it? Spring Break, Girls Gone Wild, and all that crap. I mean, the same kind of partying's been going on down there forever. That's nothing new. Is some of it tragic? Yes, but it's nothing new. That's the main thing. It's not new. You just hear about it more. That's all. So, I guess it's kind of like wherever you live or whatever. If you don't like where you're at, leave, go somewhere else. You still could do that, still a free country. Like I said, these videos of stuff, trying different times, see which ones y'all like best, long talks, whatever. I like to ramble. It's hard to stay on one subject leads to another. The stuff going on with Europe, though, I know Spain, they're having riots. They want the immigrants gone. Japan's having riots. They want their immigrants gone. Poland shut down their borders in a heartbeat. Poland was like, hell no. They didn't even let it get to that point, And people say America takes it to the extreme. And Poland takes it to the extreme. They'll shoot you trying to cross their border. But now that is one point I do want to point out. People get so upset in America talk about, well, why do we have to deport them? Why do they got to do this? Why do they got to do that? They're here. Why is it illegal? Blah, 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 blah. All I got to say to you is, even in Mexico, if you go down there without a visa, without a passport, and you sneak across the border in any other country in the world, and they catch you, you're actually better off doing that same scenario in America, because over there in these other countries, they'll put you in prison and you'll sit there until they resolve the issue, which can take years. And they don't care if you have a family. They don't care if the kids are with you. They'll split you up. It's actually worse. Over here, you You come in illegally, you do some drug deals, you get arrested, you spend a little bit of time in jail, and then they deport you back to your home country. Other countries, you go over there, you're illegal, you start dealing drugs, they kill you. End of that discussion. They just straight out kill you. I'm not sure which Asian country it is, if it's Thailand or one of them. I'm not exactly sure, but they're actually known for that. You bring drugs into that country, that's the end of you. And some Americans have found that out the hard way. But the immigration issue is just, the world's growing. The population keeps going up. And, for Middle Eastern countries, African countries, there's only so much resources and stuff to go around. So, I seen that one comedian say, instead of sending them food, water, stuff like this, they live in a damn desert. Why don't they just leave? Just send them suitcases. I think it was Sam Kinison that told that joke. Okay, so basically that's what they're doing. You can't grow nothing, they ain't got water, nothing like that, so they're trying to move, go someplace else. That's all. Go someplace that's got steady electricity. You can't knock a person for that. Could they do it the correct way? Okay, yeah. But again, I say it all the time, you gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is. Because they also charge a lot of money for that. And if they ain't got the money, well, they're gonna do it however they can. But in any case, this video is kind of shorter than what I normally do. I'm gonna try to post a video every day, and we're gonna play with the times, how long these videos run with my ramblings and stuff. I'm also looking to, like, maybe once a week actually focus on one thing, thinking about even going down the rabbit hole on some of these crazy conspiracy theories and see what plays out and just talk about it. Those might be a little longer, but yeah, if you made it this far, appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share, make a comment. You like what you see, don't like what you see. I'll interact. One thing's for sure, this whole channel now, this isn't no big production type deal. This is just an old man just rambling on. So it is what it is. I look the way I look. I do the videos how they are, and just talk. So, not trying to be fake about anything. So, but in any case, here's the old gamer. Talk to you later. Bye.